Hello, and welcome to our podcast on agreement. This is a pretty important grammatical thing for us to be looking at, and so we wanted to offer some reminders and perhaps talk about some new ideas. So let's go ahead and get into that right away. So the first thing to look at is the idea of subject and verb agreement. This is where the subject of a sentence must agree with that sentence's verb in terms of number, meaning in terms of either being singular or plural. This should be a reminder, but the idea is a singular subject takes the singular form of the verb, whereas the plural subject will take a plural verb. That's probably pretty common sense. That's not really an issue that we have, but sometimes we have to make sure that we are finding the correct subject to make our verbs agree with. In a simple sentence, as the examples down here show, the dog ran to the school. Dog, as subject, is right next to its verb, ran. That's not really the problem. The problem is when we get into these more complicated sentences that we're both reading and writing, and this is where the subject is oftentimes separated from its verb by some other grammatical structure. And that is what is causing us some confusion because we are trying to make our verb agree with something that is not the subject. So for example, the congressmen of the United States are in session. So if we look at this, we have to find the subject. What is the simple subject, the word that this sentence is about? And the word is congressman. That is plural, therefore the verb has to be are. Now, a lot of people look at this and go, okay, well, the congressman of the United States is in session. That is incorrect because United States, we do take a singular verb with that, but United States is not the subject of that sentence. That sentence is truly about congressmen, meaning plural. Number 2, although sweet, the lollipops in the bag are also tart. Our subject is lollipops, not bag. Here's the hint. The subject of a sentence can never be in a prepositional phrase. So if you're thinking, ooh, there's a word right next to my verb, or where my verb has to be, and that word is plural, if you see that it's in a prepositional phrase, that's not your subject. And so you need to find the one word simple subject, and that is the word that needs to agree. For example, the ships in the harbor were painted. Ships needs to agree with were painted. The dog who was baying at the moon was black. In that case, no matter what you try to make it agree with, it's going to come out to be singular. So even if you mess it up and try to say, oh, I have to make it agree with moon, you're going to get it right by accident. But the simple subject in that sentence is dog. So the dog was black. The ships were painted. So here's another example for us. A family of Celtic werewolves was off for a picnic on the cliffs. The subject, the simple subject, is the word family. And family, even if there are many people within that family, the word family is going to take a singular verb. And so the idea is family was. Another example, the nymph who left these footprints is usually much more cautious. Our subject is nymph, which is singular, therefore it needs to take a singular verb, which in this case is. Number 3, the robot you've been sending flowers to is wearing his heart on his sleeve. The simple subject is robot, and therefore the robot is wearing. And I think a way to double check your work is to try and read the simple subject with its verb, taking out any sort of modifying stuff or extra crap that's in the middle. Just read the simple subject and the simple verb, and if those agree, then you've gotten it right. Therefore, the robot is wearing. That sounds right. But if you were to say something like, the robot are wearing, that makes no sense. So you know that you can go back and say, robot is singular, is wearing is singular, that is in agreement. So go ahead and take a look at these and see if you can find the correct verb to make agree with the correct subject. And another page of practice here. Now here are some examples of what I'm calling weird nouns. When these words are the subjects of sentences, they tend to take some exceptional forms. So we just want to make sure that we're on the same page here. And looking at these words, or words like these, they are plural in form, meaning they end in an S. So it seems like there's more than one. But they take a singular verb. For example, physics is a fun class. Mathematics is important. Ethics as a class is a fun class to take. All of these, they look plural because they end in an S, and they seem to be more than one, but they take a singular verb to go with them. Here's some other weird nouns. They have two moving parts, and so it seems like they would be a singular item, but they take plural verbs. For example, the scissors are over on the table. The tweezers are on the countertop. So even though tweezers is one thing, like you can hold them up in one hand because there's one item, they take a plural verb, I guess because there's two little pointy things that go with those. And so be wary of these, that you wouldn't say the scissors is over here. It's the scissors are, even though there's only one of them, but they have two moving parts. So the first part of this podcast is hopefully mostly review, but now we're going to get into some potentially more confusing items and exceptions. So pay some close attention here. So if two subjects are written and they are both referring to the same person or thing, then the verb is singular. For example, my sidekick and best friend has arrived. So one person has walked through the door, and the writer is saying that that person is not only my best friend, but they are also my sidekick. That's one person walking through, therefore it takes a singular verb, has arrived, as opposed to saying my sidekick, Frank, and my best friend, Johnny, have arrived. In that case, two people are arriving. They're both labeled as different things. But in the case given, if sidekick and best friend both describe the same person, then it's a singular verb. If you see the words each or every coming before a singular subject, then they take a singular verb. For example, each huzzah and hallelujah was bouncing off the dome. And you can check that by saying each was bouncing. That makes sense. You wouldn't say each are bouncing. Every mace and hatchet was safely in its place. Every was safely. You wouldn't say every are. Another confusing structure. If two or more singular subjects are joined by or nor, they receive a singular verb. The nymph or the lamia was twining her legs around this tree. Because ultimately only one of them was doing it. It was either this or that. Therefore, one item was twining. Therefore, it is a singular verb. The robot or the dentist has requested a tango. Not both, one or the other. Therefore, it takes a singular verb, has requested. When subjects are joined with the structures of either or, neither nor, not only but also, or not but, the verb is going to agree with the subject that is closest. For example, neither nuclear war nor the meteor showers have hurt the dahlia crop this year. So first off, we have the neither nor structure. So then we have to look at the word that is closest to the verb. And in this case, nuclear war would be singular, but meteor showers, which is closest, is plural. Therefore, it takes the verb of have hurt. Either history or PE is my favorite class. Not the vampires, but the Sandman has made a mess of this. So Sandman, which is singular and closest, has to agree with the singular verb of has made. So go ahead and take a minute, stop this podcast as needed, and practice some agreement here. And a little bit more on this page. So another big chunk here. If the subject of a sentence is a pronoun rather than a noun, meaning one of those words that takes the place of a noun, then the same rules apply. So he is in town. He is singular, is singular. They are cool. They is plural, are is plural. Here's where it gets a little bit tricky. Personal pronouns are clear. He, she, they, them. They refer to a specific group of people. But there is another class of pronouns which are called indefinite pronouns. They do not refer to any one specific person. They refer to these amorphous indefinite groups. These indefinite pronouns and words like them take singular verbs. So take a moment, pause, go ahead and write those down. For example, neither of them was eager for the concert to end. And it's very tempting to say, neither of them are eager. But in this case, neither is an indefinite pronoun, and it is singular, so it takes a singular verb. Neither was eager. The next example, someone has found. And here you can see the word one within that word, which gives you another clue that someone is going to be singular. Okay, someone refers to some amorphous but one person. Therefore, someone is singular, has found is singular also. This next set of indefinite pronouns are singular or plural, just to add a little bit of fun. And so those words are any, all, such, and none. All of the classes are here for the assembly, but all of the class is here. And so you can see the word all can take either a plural are or a singular is, depending on something. What exactly is that something? That something is going to be the prepositional phrase that goes with it. Is all of the cake devoured? All, in this particular sentence, refers to cake. And so that's one item, therefore it gets a singular verb. In the next sentence, are all of the pastries gone? In this case, all takes a plural verb because of the prepositional phrase of the pastries. So what we need to be looking at in these cases where the indefinite pronouns could take either a singular or a plural is we need to look at the prepositional phrase that's attached to them. Now earlier I had said the subject of a sentence is never in the prepositional phrase, and that statement is still true. Your subject is not in your prepositional phrase. Your subject is the indefinite pronoun, but the prepositional phrase is giving you context to help you determine whether it is plural or whether it is singular. So take a minute, go ahead and pause this as needed, and practice with these examples. And some more. And so that wraps up our look at agreement. Basically looking at subject and verb agreement in terms of both nouns, pronouns, and indefinite pronouns. This has the potential to be rather confusing because we like to just be able to write our sentences, throw in any verb, move on quickly. The problem is there are some definite rules of grammar that make things matter, and so we have to go back and review that singular subjects get singular verbs. Plural subjects get plural verbs. So not only do we have to find the actual subject of the sentence we're writing, we have to determine the number, is it singular or plural, and then we need to make sure that we use the correct verb form to go with that. The trickiest part is probably those indefinite pronouns where you're getting things like each, every, all, none. And they are rather confusing because they aren't specific. But I think if you take a second, slow down, and look and see which one is actually singular or plural, or in some cases could be either, then you're a lot closer to getting the correct agreement down. As always, and especially for this one, please bring in your notes. Please bring in your questions to class. We will be going over these example and practice slides in class, making sure that you did get the correct answers while you were practicing. So thanks for watching. Bring in those questions to class, and we will go from there. Thanks a lot.